can't do business with Hitler.
We are now at war. There are but two alternatives, total victory or total defeat. There can be no such thing as a military stalemate that would result in the survival of Hitlerism. That is the opinion of a man who knows. Douglas Miller, for 15 years, commercial attaché to the American Embassy in Berlin.
Presenting a radio series entitled, You Can't Do Business with Hitler.
Episode 9, The Antichrist.
Douglas Miller speaking. Since 1933, when Hitler first came to power, he has carried on an unceasing campaign to destroy all faiths, the Jewish, the Protestants, the Catholics. We all know what happened to the Jews in Germany. They were a small minority and defenseless. Hitler's attack on Protestants and Catholics has not been so open. Nevertheless, step by step, Hitler has hammered at these Christian faiths until today he feels that the time has come to replace these faiths with a new pagan church. Incredible? Fantastic? No. Let's consider the cold facts. Listen to the words of Adolf Hitler as reported in Chapter 4 of Hermann Rauschnig's book, The Voice of Destruction.
I can guarantee that the swastika will take the place of the cross. Instead of worshipping the blood of the Savior, we shall worship the pure blood of the German people. I shall come to terms with the church temporarily. Why not? That will not prevent me from later tearing up Christianity root and branch and annihilating it in Germany.
I shall come to terms with the church temporarily, Hitler told Hermann Rauschnig. Hitler was referring to the Catholic Church, for in 1933 he negotiated an agreement with the Vatican in which Catholics in Germany were promised freedom of worship. Later, however, in 1935, he attempted to discredit the Catholic clergy by means of the now notorious immorality trials.
Father Gregory, please, Father Gregory.
I'm a jester.
Well, I told him, but they wouldn't listen. Stormtroopers, Father.
Stormtroopers? Very well, I shall see them in a minute.
You shall see us right now.
You were to wait outside.
Be quiet. You better not involve yourself in this.
My son, is your business so urgent? I am a jester.
My business is official business.
Official business? From the police?
Yeah. You are Father Gregory?
I am.
Then you are under arrest.
Arrest? You must be mistaken in some way.
No mistake. Come along.
Wait, you can't take him. What crime has he committed?
Patient heart. This is surely some error that shall be rectified. I shall go with them.
But why should you? What is the charge?
The charge? Criminal immorality.
More than 16,000 members of various Catholic religious orders were dragged into court on these trumped-up charges. Proof? Read the Lucerne Waterland for December 14th, 1937. At the same time, the Nazi-controlled German press opened up a terrific mudslinging barrage of abuse and vilification. Listen to Paul Goebbels, German Minister of Propaganda.
A vast number of Catholic clerics have been tried for various crimes. It is not a matter of regrettable individual lapses, but of a general corruption of morals such as the history of civilization has scarcely ever known. No other class of society has contrived to indulge in filth on a scale resembling that achieved by the Catholic clergy in all its ranks.
This from Paul Goebbels, official spokesman of Adolf Hitler. Unbelievable? You Catholics want proof? See a book entitled Persecution of the Catholic Church in the Third Reich, written by a German Catholic and translated from the German. I repeat that. Persecution of the Catholic Church in the Third Reich. Turn to page 305. Page 305. The fact that every single Catholic called into court was innocent made absolutely no difference to the Nazis. The immorality trials were merely a smear campaign. Hitler's next step was the destruction of the church schools. The most ironical Nazi device was the so-called parents' election. For example, in Bavaria.
We are going to have a vote.
A vote? Why?
About the schools. We're going to vote whether to send our children to the church schools or to the Nazi schools.
Is there something wrong with the church schools?
Oh, I've heard no complaints. Have you?
No.
Still, our Gauleiter tells me we ought to vote. So we will do it.
The elections were mockery. The Nazi Party brought to bear every kind of pressure to win the people to the state-controlled schools.
You are...
Ryder. Johann Ryder.
You have a son?
Yeah, Martin.
Where does he go to school?
St. Paul's Seminary for Boys.
You will vote to send your son to the state school?
Oh, well,
Don't answer. Another question. You are unemployed?
Yeah?
You expect the winter fund to help you?
Until I find work.
I will tell the Gauleiter that you expect help from the winter fund. How did you say you would vote?
I will vote.
Speak up.
I will vote for the state school.
In the final analysis, it made no difference how the people voted. The Nazis counted the vote. In other districts, Nazi Gauleiters or local party leaders went into the parochial schools to gather evidence. A Gauleiter would sit beside a parochial teacher. For example, this was typical.
Since you are the priest in charge, I want to tell you that there are many things here I find opposed to the best interests of the state.
Opposed to the interests of the state? Why, I don't...
Never mind. Go ahead with the lesson. What's next?
The catechism.
What catechism?
This one is called Truth of the Catechism from a book edited by the Bishop's Conference at Fulda.
All right, proceed.
Wolfgang,
Yes, Father?
you will recite
Yes, Father.
question 17. What was the greatest honor of the Jewish people?
The greatest honor of the Jewish people was the...
Enough! What are you teaching the book?
Well, this is merely a
I
part...
don't care what it is. Well, proceed.
Wolfgang, question 34. Who alone has the ultimate right over our bodies and our health?
God alone has the ultimate right over our bodies and our health.
Stop! You will be reported.
Reported, but I am willing.
Silence. You, Wolfgang,
Yes, sir?
you are a member of the Hitler Youth?
No, sir.
I will see your parents. Every true German boy must belong.
Yes, sir.
You will learn that the Führer, and only the Führer, has the right over our bodies and our health. Say
Shall
that.
I, Father? Shall I?
Never mind him. Do as I tell you. The Führer has the ultimate right. Obey me, Wolfgang. The Führer has the ultimate right.
The Führer has the ultimate right over our bodies.
Thus has Hitler, step by step, attempted to destroy the Catholic schools. Hear the words of Adolf Hitler himself, as reported by Hermann Rauschnig on page 53 of The Voice of Destruction.
As long as youth follows me, I don't mind if the old people live to the confessional. But the young ones will be different. I guarantee that.
And here is final evidence that Hitler has dishonored his agreement with the Vatican. On May 6, 1936, His Holiness Pope Pius XI received in audience a group of Germans representing various Catholic orders. These are the words of the Holy Father on that occasion.
Almost daily we receive reports which show how loyal Catholics in Germany are persecuted and hindered from the exercise of their faith. In the name of so-called positive Christianity, efforts are being made to de-Christianize Germany and lead her back to barbarous paganism.
I have I've given you the facts about Nazi persecution of Catholics in the Third Reich. But what has happened to the Protestants? Consider the case of Pastor Martin Niemöller. On June the 19th, 1937, Niemöller, as hundreds of other courageous Protestant pastors had done, dared to preach a sermon in which he condemned Nazi attempts to turn Germany into a pagan state.
Dear brothers and sisters, tonight, it is hour of worship. We cannot help remembering those who, for the gospel's sake, are hampered in their freedom or robbed. These people have been banished from their homes, condemned to be silent, or thrown into prison because they claim that the church has the right to denounce attacks against the Christian faith, or to denounce interference with Christian worship.
Pastor Niemöller spoke those words in June of 1937. It was his last sermon. He was charged with making subversive statements and thrown into prison. He spent 7 months in prison and then in February of 1938 stood trial. He was found guilty and fined 500 marks. The leniency of the sentence amounted to a virtual acquittal. Obviously, because of Niemöller's popularity, the Nazis were afraid to deal with him too harshly. The trial was held directly across from the American consulate in Berlin. I was in the consulate at the time and witnessed the great demonstration accorded Niemöller by a cheering crowd as he left the courtroom. In the midst of the demonstration, an automobile full of Gestapo agents pulled up before the courthouses.
Wait there. Pastor Niemöller. Pastor Niemöller.
You called me?
Yeah, I'm Oberleutnant Breuer. I have orders from the Gestapo to see if you're safe.
My safety, Oberleutnant?
Yeah.
I'm in no danger.
But you are. This crowd is very threatening.
Threatening? Oberleutnant, they are my friends. I'm in no danger.
The crowd is threatening. I have orders to take you into protective custody.
I have what right. I owe the court nothing. I paid my fine. I am a free man.
Protective custody, Pastor Niemöller. Please, come along, please.
And if I don't?
My men have a machine gun. If you incite a riot, it might be very bloody.
Machine gun? All right. I'll go with you. Come on.
Niemöller was put in the concentration camp at Sachsenhausen. He has been there ever since. Thus, Protestants as well as Catholics and Jews are denied freedom of worship in Germany. Hitler has coldly, scientifically, carefully set out to destroy the old churches. On the ruins of the old, he will build his new paganism. Listen to the words of Adolf Hitler.
The Germans shall not acknowledge the Jewish Christ creed with its effeminate pity ethic. We shall wash off the Christian veneer and bring out the religion peculiar to our race. We shall replace the cross with the swastika.
You can't do business with Hitler.
You have been listening to episode 9 in a series entitled You Can't Do Business with Hitler. If you want a copy of this script, send a postcard to the radio section of the Office for Emergency Management in Washington. I'll repeat, the radio section of the Office for Emergency Management in Washington. Listen for the 10th program in this series, which is entitled The Pagan God. This transcribed program, written and directed by Frank Telford, was brought to you by the radio section of the Office for Emergency Management in Washington.